I was just talking to the farmer down the road from me who's just started to renovate his pigsty. And this lock was on the barn door. So it has no key. It's been there for donkey's years. It's full of spiders and snails and all sorts of things. So I thought I would have a go at cleaning it up and trying to see if I could pick it. The first thing though is that the body of the entire lock itself has been screwed or bolted to a very heavy metal frame, steel frame, and then the head of the bolt has been sanded off, so I can't get it off without getting a disc cutter and cutting right through it. So that's the first thing I will do. I have stuck my pick inside, and needless to say, everything is totally jammed. So I have put a little bit of key lubricant into it. I'll put a bit more in now, so that while I'm taking the thing apart, it should start to do its work. So it's in two parts, as always with these locks. This Euro cylinder is on one side, but on the other side I found something which I found really quite interesting. It looks on first sight as if this is just the other side of the lock. Of course, all these locks have two sides. But I've noticed that the core, I'm going to bring it a bit closer, the core won't turn because there is a little something here, a little, it's almost as if it's deliberately made to stop the core from turning, because it's got this piece here, which is obviously broken, but I'm guessing that that should move up in order to allow the key to turn. I've never come across anything like this. As you can see, if this tiny piece here is pushed down, then the body of the lock can't turn. So I've no idea what this is about, but when I take it apart, I shall find out. So, yeah, okay, here's a snail. I'm now going to cut this open and have a look inside, and I'll come back with the next part of this video. What a filthy thing. Well, I've now broken this lock apart, and now I just need to undo this screw here in order to get this part of the lock free. You can see by the state of it, it's completely rusted into position, but I'm still going to have a go at cleaning it up. And the other one, that strange looking little one on the other side, I am now going to get that out by undoing this screw here and getting rid of all these cobwebs and things, and then hopefully when they're both clean, I'll be picking it with the next part. So let's get these things out. So I have now got both parts of the lock out of the main body, and I can see a name on this, Apta, never heard of it, but inside there's still a lot of cobwebs and snails and spiders, so I'll be giving that a good clean. And this tiny little one here, what a strange little piece. That's the other part of the lock, showing here that it might have 3 pins in it, but I'm not sure. Some more cleaning fluid, and then they'll be into the vise. Let's see how it goes. Well, I have now soaked both of these parts of the lock in liquid overnight in some sort of oil to loosen them up, and now I'm going to try and pick them. I'm hoping that it's going to work. This one, which I thought was a Euro cylinder, actually it's not quite, and I can actually take it apart. If I can get my screwdriver into there, and you can see that this part of the cylinder doesn't really serve much purpose at all. That's just a hollow tube, and what I've got is this part of the lock, an interesting looking lock. So let's have a go at picking this. It is full of oil and should be quite loose. Let's get this into the vise. There we are, and I think it will pick both ways, but I like to do it clockwise, and I tend to pick down. The pins are finally loose, so I'm hoping the 5 pins, I'm hoping that I can actually pick it. I'm using quite a steep hook because there seems to be quite a lot of space in the keyway. If it doesn't work, I'll change my hook. Number 1 is loose. Number 2, nothing. 3 is binding but not setting. Nothing on 4. 5. Okay, a movement on 5. 4. 3. 1 is still loose. Back again to the back. Number 5. I thought that it was rusted up, but there's obviously some movement on it, so maybe this hook is a little bit too steep. Perhaps I'll change it. A couple are set, so maybe it's a bit thick. Okay, a slightly different hook. Oh, and there we are. That's all it needed. And now we have the open. There it is. So it looks very rusty, as you can see, but it is a brass body, and there it is. There's the open on that one. So now to the second part. Well, this is an interesting little lock, this. It appears to have 3 pins, and I'm going to put it into the vise so that we can see exactly what's happening. Now, I don't know whether this has been cut down here, because the very first pin, when you push it down, it locks the core so that it can't actually turn. I haven't come across anything like this before. You see that, so that has to remain up there, otherwise the core won't turn. So I have to go over the first pin, I'm not sure that this tension wrench is in the right place. Okay, so I'm turning to the right. I have to push this little pin back up here so that the core will turn. I haven't come across one of these before. I don't know what the key will look like. I think there are only 3, well, there are only 3 pins inside. And I've looked up the name of this lock on the web, and I can find no reference whatsoever. Just make sure that's up there. I don't think there are any security pins in this little tiny lock. It looks like a cutaway, doesn't it? But I'm not sure that it is. I think this is just a safety device to stop it from being picked. Okay, there was a click there. It could be too tight in the vise. I think what I'm going to do is to use this part at the back to push it around. Get this out of the way and see if, so there's no pressure on the Bible. And there we go. So there it is, opening up. And you can see how interesting, because there's a chamfer on the lock itself. When it turns, it turns like that. And then when it gets back to the beginning, it's locked in place. And I'm guessing that this little pin here would normally drop down to stop any possibility of picking it. So there we are, my entire pigsty lock taken apart, cleaned up and picked.